Hello everyone, I greet you in the name of God Almighty. Today we have a very interesting video to discuss with you, and then it was actually Bassem Youssef, a comedian, had an interview based on the Israel and then Gaza war, and then what people can do if the world, you understand, can be changed. And of course he'll be giving his own opinion on what to do concerning the Israel and then the Palestine war, also the way forward, or what people, you understand, need to do to change the narratives concerning the war. I believe it's going to be a very interesting video. So without any further ado, let's get down to this video and check this out.
Remember when 3,000 people killed in October was too much? Now it's 30,000. It doesn't matter now. 100,000, it doesn't matter. 300,000, it doesn't matter. We've been lectured by the West for so long about like the values of humanity and declaration of human rights, and then we just see that doesn't apply to us. So kind of like you feel that maybe our people are very cheap and they don't matter.
I mean, you have become very famous here, partly because of a couple of interviews you've done recently about Israel-Gaza. You did one with Piers Morgan that got millions and millions of views. How do you feel about that role now? Of sort of, you know, the voice of a dispossessed.
Well, as I said before in one of my interviews, I have seen this movie before. Because in Egypt, when I switched from medicine, I had my own television show. The show was very successful, and suddenly I was told the same things. You're the voice of the people, you're the voice of the revolution. I said, guys, I'm a comedian, please.
You were the John Stewart of Egypt
and
for
I
a
said,
while.
and here's the problem: when people get so frustrated with a certain issue, with a certain topic, and they find someone that they can resonate with, they put all of their hopes and dreams and all of their expectations on that person. And at the end of the day, you're a human being, and you have limits, and I have limits. And at a certain point, like I did in Egypt, I couldn't continue anymore. So I kind of bailed out because it was not safe. It was too much for me. Here, I found myself in a position where I'm defending a cause that I've never been part of. You know, I'm not a Palestinian. Yeah. You know, I'm married to someone who's half Palestinian, and even she's not even active about it. Her main concern is about the kids, basically. But I found myself being into that position.
I mean, your wife had family in Gaza. Are they still there?
Yeah, they're still in Rafah.
And are you in touch? I mean, do you know?
They're trying to get out. They're in the process of trying to get out for a while, and it's fine. They have like about 6 or 7 families, uncles and cousins and stuff, and they all lost their homes. They all bombed, and they're all now cramped in one apartment in one building, with sharing it with 25 other families in that building, and that building could be bombed tomorrow.
So do you feel able to make comedy out of this situation?
My show that I tour with now does not have anything to do with current events. I try to avoid it.
Explain.
When I had this kind of uptick of fame and I'm booking my shows, people come and expect that I will talk about what's happening yesterday or the day before, and I said, no, it's not how it works. And I find it very hard to actually make fun of or make comedy out of it, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, like it happens every now and like when I go on certain interviews, it's just like the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
You know, like how Israel like bomb everyone's like, sorry guys, oops, we didn't mean to. Let's go on. It's just like what happened to them with the central global central kitchen, the
World Central Kitchen.
World Central Kitchen, yeah. They killed 7 people. It's like, we're sorry guys. I mean, war is terrible. And then the second of all, they said, it's Hamas. And then third of all, it was us. And then, war is bad, guys. I mean, sorry. I know we're sorry. And then they would even have their Twitter account saying, this is the difference between Hamas and Israel, because Israel acknowledges its mistakes and apologizes. Bravo. Bravo. Beautiful. And then even one of the tweets said, like, look what Hamas made us do. Just like, I mean, you don't even need to actually write any jokes about this. It's just like their atrocities are like, you know, like when Donald Trump was president and he was saying like one horrible thing after the other, you lose count and it doesn't become funny anymore. That's exactly what's happening there.
No, I mean, that's the point, isn't it? The world in so many ways is beyond satire. And yet,
Yeah, but at a certain point, it stops being funny.
yet you are able to sort of make, I mean, you're able to make fun of people in certain, I mean, you know, you made fun of Piers Morgan in that interview, you make fun of Ben Shapiro, you'll make fun of Israel right now. People don't know how to react to that today because you don't know whether to laugh because you don't know whether it's okay
Because it's very sad.
to laugh
Because it's very
when people
sad.
are being killed.
Because it's very sad. It's very sad. The fact that, like you tell, like we should applaud Israel for warning civilians before bombing them. Wow, dude, how amazing, how lovely. That's very sad. I don't know. It's funny and sad in the same time, don't you think? You know, it's like the fact that they lie. I mean, the fact that like when Israel said like, hey, Hamas has a base, military base under the hospital. Do you have any proof? Here's a CGI video. What? That's what we have. And you have to believe it. But if you don't believe it, you're anti-Semitic. Ooh, you're anti-Semite.
Do you get accused of that?
Of course.
Of anti-Semitism a lot?
I'm an anti-Semitic, yeah. It's funny because in Egypt I was accused of being a secret Jew and a Mossad agent, and now I come to America to be accused of being anti-Semitic.
And how do you deal with that? What do you say? You laugh?
Like this, ooh,
Yeah.
I'm so afraid now. It doesn't mean anything. This accusation of anti-Semitic, it's an empty accusation. It doesn't mean anything now.
But it's one of the worst accusations
No,
somebody can make, isn't it?
Why is it?
You know, being accused of being a racist or an anti-Semite.
You understand that I'm a Semite myself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense. You understand this?
Of course, in that
And you
respect,
understand
yeah,
like the fact that you say anybody is anti-Semite doesn't mean anything. Because they call other Jewish people anti-Semites, right? Or self-hating Jews, sorry. They changed the narrative.
Yeah.
Oh, you're self-hating Jews, you're anti-Semite. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So do you think the power of that accusation is ebbing away?
Yeah. People don't care anymore. People are making fun of this accusation because basically Israel is saying we'll do whatever we want, and because we are Semites, and if you speak about anything, October 7th, and you're anti-Semite. It's just, you see, the narrative, it's become so tired and so exhausting and just devoid of anything, of meaning.
Well, what do you think about the flip side of that, which is when people accuse Israel of a Holocaust or a genocide, or, you know, and they turn those words back on Israel and say, well, look at what you're doing. When obviously the numbers do not compare. So, you know, and when you talk about genocide, or, you know, you think about Rwanda or Cambodia or the Second World War, or, you know, millions of people dying. Do you think that's an appropriate accusation to level at Israel
We
now?
have to wait until a million Palestinians are killed, then we
That's
can
what
call
I
that
mean.
genocide.
So,
of course, yeah. What happens is that it's not genocide. It's just like light tickling.
so at what
You know,
point does something
remember
become
the enhanced
genocide?
interrogation, the waterboarding? It's not torture. It's enhanced interrogation. It's too much killing. How about that? It's just, that's why I don't even like engage about all of it, because it's just words. Genocide, not genocide, genocide. And as me and you wasting time deciding if it's genocide or not, already 10 people were shot as we speak.
Yeah.
Where is the proportionate response? How can Israel do? Is Israel, as we are discussing these arguments, right? 15 people are killed. Like, does Israel have the right to exist? What should they do? As we're discussing these 50 people were killed. It doesn't matter. All of these conversation about the media is just like sickening, because it just gave Israel more time to do whatever they do on a daily basis, which is increased killing. So whatever definitions we're discussing, defending, whatever self-defense, war, terrorism, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The whole system seems to be designed for Israel just doing whatever they want, and on their spare time, they come in and they piss you off with these discussions.
So what have you worked out then about the power of a TV show like the one you had in Egypt, or like The Daily Show in America, where you satirize power, you make fun of politicians, and then they take power and they win anyway? You know, I mean, The Daily Show in America was this sort of vaunted thing that people think is absolutely amazing. Jon Stewart's back on it. It's very funny. But it's not going to stop anything happening, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's an illusion of freedom of expression.
It's an illusion.
Yeah.
Just explain.
My show is an illusion. All of this is illusion. We're wasting our other people's time by talking about stuff, thinking that we can actually make a change. Well, the world doesn't even change. I mean, it's right there. How many UN resolutions? How many Security Councils? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Really, we can talk and we shout and we can cry and we can jump and we stomp. And at the end of the day, the people in power are doing whatever they want.
So I'm just trying to get to sort of, the sort of the cynicism that you have about people's ability to change the world.
My cynicism?
See, on the one hand, you talk about, people are right to sort of complain and people are right to want better.
I mean, they could complain.
But on the other hand, you'll sort of say, well, nothing really changes.
Do you think they're going to make it? Yes, they can complain. But listen, there's two different things. They have the right to complain. Your question is, will that change the world?
Yeah.
And I say, I don't think so. But at the same time, I cannot tell them not to complain. It's not really mutually exclusive, right? It's like you can have both. Look at me, for example. I go and I complain about what Israel does. Does that change anything? No. Do I keep doing it? Yes. Why? Because I have nothing else to do.
What do you think should happen now on that?
Where?
On the Israel question. Do you think things are changing? Do you think international opinion is changing at all? Well, do you think international opinion is changing at all? There's a sense.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That's the second question. But
it doesn't matter. That's it exactly. Does it change? Maybe. Does it matter? No. Because what people don't like Israel now? Do they care? Well, have they slowed down the killing? No. Have they stopped killing people? No. Have they stopped violating every single international law article? No. Does it matter? No. Will it change anything? No. They don't understand but one language, which is power and force. And there's no pressure or power from the United States, which is their own sponsor. And sometimes I wonder who leads the other. So it's not going to happen.
I mean, I understand why you say you feel disenfranchised and you don't want to choose between Biden and Trump. But do you think America will be different depending on who wins the election?
I am biased against Trump. I think he can make changes that affect even freedom of expression and democracy. But that's my bias. Maybe I'm misinformed. Maybe he's going to be better. I had certain bias about Biden. I thought that he would be a better president. He's not. So I was wrong about that, especially in what happened in Gaza. I don't know. I honestly, like, this conflict has been very emotionally demanding, that I can't even imagine what America would be under either of them.
The conflict in Gaza, you mean?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? I mean, in what way is it emotionally demanding for you beyond the obvious?
I mean, the thing is, remember when 3,000 people killed in October was too much? Now it's 30,000. It doesn't matter now. 100,000, it doesn't matter. 300,000, it doesn't matter. We've been lectured by the West for so long about the values of humanity and Declaration of Human Rights, and then we just see that doesn't apply to us. So kind of you feel that maybe our people are very cheap and they don't matter. And it doesn't matter how many people were killed.
What do you mean by our people?
Palestinian people. I mean, at the end of the day, we're Arabs, right? Because if it's not, because we're all linked together, Arab, Muslims, Middle Eastern, whatever, And I wonder, what will happen if my daughter, grows up and put a Palestinian keffiyeh and goes on a demonstration when she's 20 years old? Would she be arrested for being a terrorist? I don't know. This whole thing, stacking the whole world opinion against us and making the whole world accepting that we just die in huge numbers. I don't know. I didn't hear about any other population that lost 2% of its population in less than 6 months. I didn't hear about that. And it's happening right in front of our eyes and nobody's caring. Nobody cares. We're just talking about it.
When you say nobody cares, what would you have to do to show that you care?
Me?
Not any other person.
Me. People in power, United States. You have to stop Israel. And I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna repeat it in every single interview. If the Gaza war stops today, you know what's the worst thing that could happen? People will congratulate and praise Israel for stopping the war now, instead of holding it accountable for the stuff that's done for the past 6 months. This is the scary part. They might even give a Peace Nobel Prize to Netanyahu for just stopping 30,000 people. If the war stops today, people will praise Israel for self-constraint.
Well, I mean, it's quite common at the end of wars for war leaders to then be awarded peace prizes.
Absolutely.
Which is always extraordinary. But what do you think should happen?
Israel should be held accountable and be taken to the criminal court. And they should pay reparation, and they should go in and repair what they did. Because whatever happened on October 7th does not justify all of that.
So when you say that, you feel your people, if you like, or Palestinians they don't
Not
count
even my
as much.
people. They are human beings.
Human beings, but they don't count
Yeah, they
the
don't
same way.
No, they don't count. How many Palestinian kids were killed since October 7th?
Yeah.
In the West Bank? 81.
Yeah.
If 81 Israeli kids were killed since October 7th, what will the world do?
But is this a revelation to you?
No, it's not a revelation. We know this all along, but when you see it,
You're
happen
confronted by
more
it right now.
practically, because we know we did it. We don't matter. We know that our lives doesn't. It's not that valuable. We understand that. We've seen this a long time ago. Like, when 11 people from Charlie Hebdo were killed, which is terrible, of course. Everybody used to be for Charlie, and then the world leaders went to Paris. 11 people. But you have 30,000. If the news tomorrow comes out, 10,000 Palestinians were killed, do you think the world will make any change? No.
I mean, I saw the argument you made around that was about the dehumanization of Palestinians and about talking about them as animals. Do you think that was even needed?
No, it's not needed, but it's.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, because I think it's just self-evident that people in some parts of the world are valued less than people in other parts of the world when it comes to death.
It's the currency
when you're when you're living in the Western world.
Yeah.
The question is, do you think the Palestinians needed to be dehumanized, or were they just worth less in the West?
Both, because in order to escalate the violence, you need to remind the people how inhuman those people are, in order to continue doing it. Because Israel has been killing them on a daily basis, but in order to up the violence every now and then, you need a little bit of a reminder of how inhuman those people are. So it's just like a process that goes in to just help increasing the victim toll.
I can see why you don't do comedy about current events.
Yeah.
Because this is a dark conversation.
Yes.
And I guess an indication of where you are in your mind about this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Bassem, Youssef, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
Well, looking at some of the things that Bassem said, in this video concerning the action of the US and then also that of Israel, you realize that there are so many resolutions that has been passed, but those resolutions that has been passed, have they been honored? And that's the reason why people feels that the United Nations, as if some of the resolution they do pass in a sense does not really matters, and that's the reason why people tend not to respect some of the sovereign state. Else otherwise Israel could have not went on to attack Palestine. Nevertheless, of course, we can't be able to forget about what happened on the 7th October, where some of the Israeli we are being slaughtered by the Palestine. Of course, it was actually a very devastating one. But then, well, if you look at some of the action, even though sometimes it could be that when there's an action, you can be able to control your own action, but you cannot be able to control another person's reaction on how the person is going to react. But then, because if you look at it at the end of the day, if Israel tend to attack them, then they would kind of try to justify it with what that happened in October 7, and this has been the narrative of what that is happening these very days. People keep on killing one another. When will this is gonna stop? We do not know, and that's the reason why Bassem is saying that whatever they say or whatever they are saying, people will listen, but will they change anything? It may not change anything, because at the end of the day, this one went on to attack, this one will do counter attack, and that's what that has been happening. Of course, as of yesterday, of course, we listened to the UN resolution that they passed so that the Palestine can be recognized in the United Nations, just like how Israel is being recognized. But then the resolution has been passed by some of the respective members countries. So will it be respected? We do not know. Of course, we all heard about what happened when Iran decides to attack Israel, or should I say counter attack, because of Iran went on to attack its embassy. So they directly attack Israel, even though the Iron Dome was able to grab some of the missiles. We do not know if there are casualty or not, but then as of yesterday, we had learned about, or today early in the morning, we learned about Israel in the other hand, attacking Iran. Well, this has been, you understand, some of this narrative, and that's why, you understand, I tend to believe with Bassem on what, you understand, he is saying, that we can't really change the world, because at the end of the day, everybody wake up and do whatever, you understand, that they want. Where would all these things, you understand, will finally end up, we do not know. But then we can only make reference with some of the religious scriptures, and that's why, you understand, the Bible says that when the end time comes, you understand, kingdom will rise against kingdom, nations will rise against nations, and then there will be earthquake, there will be war, and then all those things. And then this is exactly what, you understand, we are facing at the moment. When will all these things stop? We do not know. We know Iran happens to be, in a one of the country that, you understand, they may not really want to listen to anyone. Same thing is also applicable to Israel, because if you look at it, even the America, when they are trying to advise them not to attack Iran, you see they still go ahead, you understand, and do it. Now these two stubborn nations, I do not know how they are going to go about, you understand, some of these things, but then, and we all know that all of them, you understand, they both have, you understand, missiles that they can decide to even nuke the whole world. How would all these things will finally end up? We do not know. And then the only thing that we can only do, you understand, as believers, is for us to be very closer to our Maker, so that in case something happened and then you end up, you understand, dying wherever, irrespective of where you find yourself, then you know that at least whatever suffering you go through here on this very earth, for you to know that as you go to heaven, you are going toward a resting place. Not that you suffer here on earth and then you die, you go to heaven, and then you still face the same thing. That's not the prayer I have for you or to myself. But then how we can only do is that you go to God. God have already said, you understand, in the scripture that he is just, that when we go before him, you understand, that he's going to forgive us of all our unrighteousness. So irrespective of our iniquities, how bad it is, once you go before God, he is going to show you mercy, because he's a merciful God. And then we are lucky, of course, to have a God, you understand, that can be able to have compassion, you understand, over our sin. And that's why he said in his word that what he will show mercy on whom he want to show mercy. So all that is expected of you is to go before God and seek for forgiveness, because if you die, you understand, and die a sinner, it means that you did not enjoy here on this very earth. Same thing is also applicable, you understand, you end up, you understand, in eternal hellfire. That's all the prayers I have for you, and that's not the prayer, you understand, that I know that some of you will also have for me. So we just have to keep on praying, keep on hoping that God is going to forgive us of all our unrighteousness. So this is the end of my video. If you like my reaction, you should like, share, and subscribe. If you have any video you want me to react to, don't forget to drop it at the comment section, and I'm going to check it out. So guys, you remain blessed, and I see you in my next